Hey everyone, my name's Gunther, and welcome back to Sakura Zoo. Today, it's all about the shores of Africa and the African penguin. And what better way to start off a new area than with a new foliage entrance? This will actually help to anchor the new habitat and transition from the traditional Africa section that you might be used to a more watery environment. I had a lot of fun building this area, and I used a few tricks to put it all together pretty quickly. To start, I needed something to hold the corner of this entire area down. I'd actually always meant for a keeper building to fit here, and putting together a small 2x2 building really just did the job. Now, to keep the building more interesting, I swapped out one corner for a curved wall, adding in a more unique shape and getting away from that square building that is all too easy to fall into. I tried to add in an upper section as well, just hated the way it looked though. For the foliage section, I wanted this 3-step planter box. It's going to be a large area, so adding in some height variation is actually a really smart decision here. I did cheat a little bit by taking the stone wall blueprint from the barnyard pack and clearing out all the foliage. It was a really quick way to get a rough stone looking fence for your planter area.
Yes.
Next, it was time to build a wall that would separate the guest section from the staff area. Started off with some painted wood beams, rotated each beam by 90 degrees, and threw in a few upside down ones as well. Really, all of this is just to add a bit of variation and to break up the look as well. You're going to see me play around with some bamboo pieces as well, and while they don't work here, I do actually find a home somewhere else for them. To add in more variation, I took a few beams and adjusted the color slightly, further breaking it up and making it a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Lastly, we needed a frame to hold it all together, and that's that, a barrier built in no time. With the framework set up, I wanted something to set up a diorama welcoming the guests into this new area, and I added some African penguin statues. This actually worked out really well. So with that all out of the way, it was really time to fill it all in with foliage. Now, I'm no master when it comes to this step, but I tried to go with less is more here, showing off more of that mulch of the planted box than I normally tend to do, and it turned out really well. Keeping in mind that this is meant to be a man-made planter box helped me to reel in my need to cover everything with bushes and grass. You might have also noticed the addition of a sign calling out the shores of Africa. I used the otter sign by Haribo, modified and removed a few things and set it all in some text. It's a great way to add a sign and finish off the area. Now, if you're looking for that blueprint, you can definitely find it in the video description below. With a few finishing steps, our planter box is set up, and I really like how it turned out. Now with that out of the way, it's time for us to start working on the habitat itself. I started off by placing down a path off screen, and then went with something a little bit more curved and non-natural, and I lined it with concrete panels. Now when you think of penguins, it's super easy to imagine a habitat with water separating the habitat from the guests, and this is absolutely no different. But in Planet Zoo, you need to keep a few things in mind. You need quite a large gap between the path and the pool area, so make sure to add in a bit of extra space, more than you actually might think in all honesty, as it helps to hide some of the terrain deformations that stick out. For the penguin side, instead of concrete, I'm a much bigger fan of the faux rocks. With the first layer placed, I ended up copying this down and adjusted slightly left or right. There's actually a really easy way to get a slightly less uniform look to your underwater areas. And as mentioned, because they're underwater, we don't really have to worry about them too much. I wanted the back wall of this habitat to be a bit more interesting looking as well. I've done plenty of penguin habitats in the past, and I've always fallen into these square habitats that look rough overall. So today, I opted to add in some more angles, giving a thinner overall strip of land, but getting in some much needed breaks to all of those flat surfaces. To help put this all together, I used some of the flatter pieces on their side and angled slightly up to get a really interesting look. To act as a transition from the interior to the exterior, I also utilized some of those faux rock doors, which tie in really well for penguin habitats. And once we add in the building behind it, this is really going to pop together. It's a small change, but something I like to think will pay off in the end. Lastly, I snuck in a circular mud wall. This helps to tie in the habitat to the rest of the African section, while also giving us an area that we can use for some more foliage.
Good.
Now, remember that building I placed way at the start? Well, with the habitat coming together, it was time to spruce this area up just a little bit. I'm going to start by layering some more wood conservation pieces on the wall. Very similar to the wood barrier, I'm going to adjust each plank by flipping them around and also moving them up or down. Really, this is just adding a bit more variation to the build and breaks up all of those flat lines. And this is also where I snuck some bamboo back into the build. A little bit of taste of Japan in Africa, if you will. For the door to the backstage area, I used 2 glass doors, mirrored, and then layered some South African screens on top. Now to hide all of that clipping, I used some more conservation boards, painted a solid black this time, and I layered those on top of that. It took a bit of work, but really just adds to the overall build and honestly might be my new favorite for African doors. Now, at this stage, you might have heard me use the word layer quite a bit. And if you're struggling a bit with a Planet Zoo build, think about layering something on top. And keep in mind that straight lines are not your friend. The eye naturally follows straight lines, so adding a bit of variation will encourage you to look somewhere else quicker, allowing you to take your build to the next level. Now, something I keep telling myself is to always try something new every single time. And this something new may not work out. Red Fox Habitat, I'm definitely looking at you. But more often than not, you learn something as well. So take that as my advice today. Don't be afraid to get outside of your comfort zone and try something new. Now, getting back to the build, we have one last step, which is to help blend the wood barrier into our path. So I used some more of those stone wall blueprints and placed some upside down bamboo trees. Really, it's just a great way to get some quick bamboo forests and helps to mask this entire area. You might have also noticed some plaster panels all along the ground. It's another way to hide the terrain deformations and get a cleaner overall look. It's not something I like to do often, but in this case, really worked out. And just like that, we are at the end of the build. I just need to add in some foliage for the habitat. Again, less is more, as this is supposed to be a waterside habitat, so you can't just drop grass everywhere. And of course, we need to add in that building as well. As this all comes together, I just want to take the time to apologize for taking some extra time on this video. For those who didn't see, I've fallen down the hole that is Warhammer the Old World, which is a tabletop miniature game for those who don't know. And remember my advice, try something new? This is actually my something new. And in fact, I'll be heading to a tournament later this month, so I've been getting some practice in where I can. So again, I apologize for the delay, and I'll keep on working on getting more Sakura Zoo built up. Who knows who will build for next, and if you have some ideas, leave a comment below. If you've also made it this far as well, think about hitting the subscribe button and letting me know what you thought of this build today. Of course, thank you again to our channel members and for joining me on this journey. I'm going to leave you with some final shots of our African penguins enjoying their new home and some of these amazing sightlines with the buildings in the background. So worth it. As always, thank you so much, and of course, ciao for now.